All right, now we're rocking and rolling. You got a lighter? I got a lighter. Okay, we're good. Ooh. All right, I got one. I want to talk about something that I know you're incredibly passionate about, given the fact that I've read your manuscript for your upcoming book. First, tell us the difference, David, between a profit first leadership approach versus a people first leadership approach. And how do we as an industry get franchisees to teeter more toward the people first side of the spectrum rather than the profit first?
So if you have a profit first approach, you're more than likely not to make a profit. If you have a people first approach, you're definitely going to make a profit. And I think that most new franchisees, myself included, when we're first looking at it, we all go into business to make money, and there's nothing wrong with that. Profit is not a bad word; it's a great word. Making money is not a bad word. And I think sometimes in our society that people think that it is. But I learned lessons really quickly that I was doing more damage to my business and my people by only focusing on the bottom line instead of focusing on their success. When I switched that whole mindset about, I'm in this business, I'm in a people business. I'm in a people business customers, and I'm in a people business employees. So when I switched my mindset from money to people, we started making more money.
Yeah.
When it was only about money, I was driving people away. I was hurting my employees. I had a unhealthy workplace. And you know who sensed that immediately? My customers. And the minute my customers could walk into one of my stores after I had gone in there and chewed the employees up one side and down the other because you're not hitting labor, you're not doing this, your food cost sucks. And then walk out. And then the next customer that came, they could sense that. They could sense that my employees were not happy. They don't like being at their job. They showed up in their service. And then I'd lose those people as customers. But when we switched the mindset to people first, hey, what's going on at this store? What do you need help with? We didn't hit labor last week. Is there anything I can help with? Are you, as the leader of this store, is there a rationale behind you not hitting labor last week?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, David, I didn't hit labor last week because, I'm training 3 people, and we at my store, David, we spend extra time on training so that I don't have turnover. Makes sense to me. Low labor this week.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So when we switched from a mindset of profit first versus people first, we actually started making more money.
Yeah, I think if you chase profit, if you're chasing profit, your people will run away. But if you chase your people, well, then the money will start chasing you.
Yeah, they embrace it.
Right.
It's and how do we get, I don't know how to get other franchisees, and I think there are some franchisees who get it, sinks in right away and they get it. But in the QSR industry in general, but almost in any industry, it's a people business.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a people business, shouldn't that be your first focus, is people?
You'd think so, but there's nothing more elusive than an obvious fact.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So how do we? So let me give you a hypothetical here. All right, I've got one hell of an opening manager. She works Monday through Friday. And my other manager is more of a support manager. She comes in between 9 and 3. That's her shift, 9 to 3, Monday through Friday. She doesn't open, but she takes care of a lot of other things. She takes care of truck, which is huge, right? So then here's what happens. All of a sudden, my rock star of an opening manager has to get emergency surgery for whatever reason. She's going to be out for a couple of days. Then upper management comes in and starts putting pressure on the support manager to come in and open when that's not part of her availability with good reason. She's a single mom. She has to get her kid off to school and all that stuff. So in that situation, me being a people first guy, you being a people first guy, I would just say, and I want you to play devil's advocate here, or tell me that I'm jacked up, or just, hey, you might be onto something here. My thing is it the end of the world if that particular unit opens at 9 for the next couple of days? But I think most franchisees don't see it. I think they do see it as the end of the world.
Right. What's your normal operating hour?
7 o'clock.
7, 8, 9. So you're proposing cutting off 2 hours every day for how many days?
A couple of days. 2, 3 days.
3 days, 2 hours, 3 times 2 is 6. So you're losing 6 hours. How much revenue or AUVs do you get in that first opening hour and the second opening hour?
Say $200 total. Maybe a little bit.
200 total a day.
Yeah.
So we're going to lose $1,200.
Mm-hmm. Potentially more, because you would, if she gets in if the support manager is coming in at 9, well, the store is not going to really open until 10.
So 3 times 3, 9. 9 times 2, so $1,800. Is there an opportunity to make that $1,800 up anywhere?
You could potentially add an hour or two in the evening.
So could you add it? So you traditionally, does your business have higher volume the last hour of the day versus the first hour of the day? So like the first hour of the day.
Depends on the day. If it's Friday or Saturday night, you're going to have more volume in the last hour of the day as opposed to the beginning.
So how I would propose it, like if I was in your position,
Mm-hmm.
going to my boss or my boss's boss or however I propose it, this is where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
This rock star of an employee has to have 2 days off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if we don't give her the 2 days off, we may lose this rock star of an employee. If we say you can't take it, we may lose her.
Mm-hmm. But then potentially you might also, not immediately, but in the longer term, you might begin to develop a malaise with the support manager
Exactly.
if they're eating into her availability that isn't there, right?
Right. So we have the potential possibility of losing 2 management positions that we've invested $50-some thousand in or more on training, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got 2, 50,000 each. Keep that 100,000 in the back of your head.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proposing that for these 2 days, we open at 9.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm also proposing, realizing that if we open at 9 or 10, that may cost us $1,200 or $1,800.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I can make it up if I stay open Friday night and Saturday night for the next 2 weeks. An hour later,
Mm-hmm.
I've made that back and more, probably.
Mm-hmm.
That's how, if I was in your position going in, or if you were you and you came to me, that's how I would say, talk to me.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
1, you're putting people first.
Mm-hmm.
2, not only my solution is, this is my solution because we've invested $100,000 into 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can't do this, we may lose them. There's we may lose $100,000.
Either explicitly or they'll just quietly quit.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I would do too is I would go to both those 2 people and say, hey, let's have a group think tank here, us 3 together. This is what we're facing. Do either of you guys have a solution?
Yeah.
They may come up with something that you never even thought of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's happened to me a lot of times.
Yeah.
You 3 got a solution for this. These 2 days, employee needs to take off.
Mm-hmm.
Has to.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put our heads together as 3 leaders of this location.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got any ideas? If this was your story, you got any ideas?
Yeah, so make it in a collaborative effort.
Right.
But then I think what we're sort of also dancing around, but not explicitly stating, but it's implied, is that the reason why we're having to come up with a rationale and a story and something to pitch is because there's obviously another symptom of profit first leadership, and that's micromanagement. Right? So there really wouldn't even need to be a discussion about this if there isn't micromanagement happening. Do you think that's true or not? I mean, there would need to be a discussion after the fact. Here's what happened. Here's what we did, and then, as you and I have talked about, the best leaders, in my opinion, would say, "Okay, great. I'm glad you did something. I would have done the exact same thing." Or, "Okay, great. I'm glad you did something. This is what we do next time."
Right, and we've had those conversations.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Or, I don't think this is micromanaging, but this is also a sign of hey, this is where this is what we're facing. This is my solution.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the good leader, in my opinion, would say, great solution, run with it.
Mm-hmm.
Or they may also say, hey, I like the solution, but did you think about these 3 things too?
Mm-hmm.
No, but I'll think about them and come back to you.
Right.
That's not micromanaging, that's collaborative.
Mm-hmm.
Micromanaging would be, your store must be open at this time, and I don't care how you get it done, it will be done.
Mm-hmm.
Period. No solutions, no people, no nothing.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's my thought.
Mm-hmm. So then but as we said before, that's a symptom of the profit first mindset. And that's a very sinister symptom of it. How do we get away from that? Because that leads to, I mean, franchisees are just pissing on their foot and saying that it's raining outside with that when they micromanage, because we know that retention rates are through the roof. Yet if you micromanage, you're contributing to that fact. You're going to burn people out.
Oh, right. Yeah, turnover rates.
Yeah.
Not retention.
Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
So we want retention.
Right. Yeah.
We don't want turnover. So looking at it from a franchisee standpoint, in my experience we also have to be able to communicate this to the customer that I go to your store. I know your store is open at 7 a.m. And let's just say Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to close it.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to open something. So I go there at 8 o'clock to get my breakfast, and you're closed.
Mm-hmm.
And I get disgruntled.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going back there again for breakfast at 8 o'clock because I don't know if you're going to be open or not.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get over that hump too.
So then how do you do that?
I think communicating, clearly posting it or something. Hey, letting the customer know. So put it up.
What's wrong with what's wrong with telling the truth?
No, tell the truth.
Yeah, there's a sign on the menu that says our beloved opening manager so and so is currently in the hospital.
You got to be careful because that's HIPAA laws and everything like that.
Okay.
You got to make sure she's okay with you posting this, because she may not want you to share her medical issues.
Right.
But you can say.
But you can't say something just like due to staffing, because that's not going to be.
No, so unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances with our opening manager.
Mm-hmm.
that's nice and it's not revealing.
Right.
For this day and this day, and you got to post it a week ahead of time. You can't post it on the day,
Mm-hmm.
because if I come in there 3 times a week for breakfast at 8 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
I'll see that sign and know that next Tuesday I'm not coming in at 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
But if you post it on the day of,
Right.
you didn't communicate.
Right.
So that's
So can I play devil's advocate?
Yeah.
Because you and I have talked about, okay, customer first, but employee more first.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So how do you negotiate that? It's like, okay, yeah, we care about the 8 o'clock regular, but it's because of the opening manager that the 8 o'clock regular is even a thing. So it's like we're taking care of this person. How do we, right?
So
It's kind of a rob Peter to pay Paul situation, but it's something I feel very strongly about because I don't.
This is where you have a heart to heart with the employee.
Mm.
This is what I want to do. And this is what I'm willing to do for you as a valued employee. Valued is key. Not valued, I might not do this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that sounds cruel, but it's true.
Right.
This is what I'm proposing. I want to put up this sign this week for next week. How do you feel about that?
Mm-hmm.
She may come up with something else.
Right.
You're important to me. You're important to this operation. You're important to the store because of you. We're profitable.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I want to do.
Right.
You know what? That will. What's the expression that people will? What do you say all the time?
People work for a paycheck but die for recognition.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
She'll bury your bodies.
Right.
You know, her loyalty to you, her loyalty to the organization, increased 100-fold
Mm-hmm.
because of you willing to do that.
Right.
Can you put, as a franchisee, can you put a dollar amount on what that loyalty is worth? I don't know if you can put a dollar amount on it,
but you can put a dollar amount on it if you lose it.
But let's say a month from now we're in a bind. That loyalty,
relationship equity.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And some people might, the cynics, if you hear that, if that's the first time you've heard that, you might think of that as being manipulation. I think it's inspiration.
No, it's not. I don't think of it as manipulation because I'm doing it because we're a people first organization.
Mm-hmm.
And because we're a people first organization, building up that relationship equity, not necessarily going, okay, it's not you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not tit for tat. But let's say a month from now, we've got an order coming in, Miss Manager, for, it's $1,000 order and they want to pick it up at 8 o'clock in the morning. We're going to have to come in 2 hours earlier to open the store just to get this out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She's less likely to balk at that
mm-hmm.
because of what you did back there. You're not looking for, hey, remember what I did a month ago for you? Now you're going to do this for me.
You don't even have to say it.
No.
You don't even have to say it.
No.
So then how do we get, because I think I know, it's a big issue. This franchisees and the industry in general is just so myopic for short-term profit versus long-term sustainability, especially when it comes to their people.
I think it just needs more voices like yours, like mine. Other franchisees need to speak up more. The people first franchisees need to speak up. I think there are some big players in the QSR industry, franchisors, that do have that mindset, and they do need to they need to speak up more, maybe have some more training with franchisees about that particular topic.
Mm-hmm.
That that, what did we say, $1,900, and you're going to get that if you demand that we open at this time. You're going to keep that $1,900, but you may end up losing tenfold of it 3 months from now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that is just, I think that's education. I think, and the only way that you can educate people is through the franchisor and through people who've experienced it in the past,
Mm-hmm.
like you, like me.
Mm-hmm. So and you talk about this in your upcoming book. What do you think it's of your 5 characteristics that make up a leader in this industry? Which one do you think pertains the most to this particular issue, transitioning from
Empathy,
profit first to people first? Empathy.
and vision.
I'd say humility.
Yeah, humility too. I mean, but humility is, to me, that's, a prime example in the QSR industry of humility to be. Now, obviously, I talk about the towel a lot. That's Jesus, washing the feet of the disciples.
Mm-hmm.
But to take it out of the religious sphere into the secular sphere and talk about humility in the QSR industry, it is one of the founders of Chick-fil-A at an opening of a new Chick-fil-A scrubbing toilets. That's humility.
Mm-hmm.
Because I am one of the founders and the CEO of Chick-fil-A, and we've got to get this store cleaned, opened, and ready to go tomorrow for our grand opening.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in there scrubbing toilets right next to my crew, a crew member.
Mm-hmm.
That's humility, and that's a true story.
Yeah.
So that's humility.
Okay.
I think empathy and vision. So I have a vision to be a profitable people first store.
Mm-hmm.
And I have talked, I have talked about this vision. I, talked about it with all of my employees across all of my stores, that we are a people first store. I have to put that into practice.
Right.
So that's empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Weep with those who weep.
I'd say that's integrity. Isn't that part of your?
Yeah. Integrity to me is
having a do to say to ratio.
integrity to me is doing
what you say you're going to do. If you're a people first business, then be a people first business.
So you can say it's all of them. It's all of
them.
Yeah. Humility, integrity, vision, empathy, self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
It's all of
them. Yeah. What other examples do you have of? And the reason why I'm going here is because again, the storyteller in me, I know that people are attracted to the problem, so I want to keep poking at the problem and the pain here. What other anecdotes do you have as far as, okay, this is what a profit first mindset looks like, and here's why it's got to go. I have my own, but you got more tread on the tire than I do.
We had a valued employee that was well loved at one of our stores.
Mm-hmm.
Young person, still in high school. I think they were a senior in high school.
Mm.
But well loved, well liked, jovial, kind, and great customer service, but also a deep, just a really decent guy, and really he was like he was the guy that sometimes he got taken advantage, but he was the guy that every other employee in that store just kind of grabbed. He was a magnet for, he was killed. in a car accident on his way to work.
Mm.
Devastated. The store was devastated. I was devastated. I mean, nonstop tears. All the people, the manager, everybody, nonstop tears. And his funeral was 3 or 4 days after this, and it was a bad accident. His funeral was 3 or 4 days later. And I said, shut the store down so everybody can attend the funeral. That cost me a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
That's people.
Yeah.
That's empathy. And that's people first. Did it cost me money to shut that store down for, the funeral? Sure did.
Mm-hmm.
Funerals can last 5-6 hours, with the funeral and the wake and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, depending on the location and the concept that you were with the tenant, like that's anywhere between $1,500 to $2,000 in AUV right there on a single day.
Yeah. But I knew it was going to cost me money. But I also knew we were a people first organization. I told my customers, 3 days for it, and everybody knew it was a small town. It made headlines in the paper. Everybody in the town was talking about it. Everybody knew the kid. And we put up a nice sign the next day that on this day, the store will be closed in memory of,
Mm-hmm.
so that our employees can go to the funeral.
Yeah.
But you know what it got me? Loyalty in that town. People were talking about it forever on their Facebook page, this town's Facebook page.
This is such and such informed.
Yeah, those informed pages. My employees, I bet you every single one of those employees said, you know what David did? They probably told 5 or 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
Our boss shut down the store so we could go honor this kid.
What did that do for morale?
Morale was great.
And morale is profit. Right. Morale is profit.
Morale is profit, but so is PR. I mean, the PR that bought me in the Facebook informed pages for this town, I can't put a price tag on it. But I can tell you it developed some very loyal customers.
Yeah.
Extremely loyal customers.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't my intention.
Mm-hmm.
That was just what happened. My intention was my people need to go to this funeral. And I went too.
Yeah.
I wept with them.
Mm-hmm.
That's empathy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's people first.
Right. Other examples of profit first.
Profit first?
Aside from micromanagement. We can keep talking about micromanagement because that's one of the bigger ones.
Profit first.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a wide gambit here. I mean, everything from micromanagement to lumping in paper products in with food costs, then griping about that. So when it's high, and so
So I'm always going to want to know why your food cost is high. Why is labor high? Why is this? Why is that? And we're going to have conversations about it.
Mm-hmm.
And if I go to you and say, why last week was your labor high?
Mm-hmm.
And you tell me, and it is, David, I knew it was going to be a little bit high because I was training. We hired 3 new people. I was training 3 new people, and I wanted them to have great training. And one of the things that you and I had discussed, a month or so ago was customer service, and that you were worried about some of the complaints that we were getting about the store, the employees being a little slow. And then we evaluated that and realized that we needed to work on speed with our employees. And to do that, I had to add a few hours on the labor.
Mm-hmm.
And so you tell me your reason. I say, screw this. You're hitting labor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about any of that BS.
Mm-hmm.
You have to hit labor for me to make me profitable this week.
Mm-hmm.
That's profit.
Yeah.
KPIs are important. Key performance indicators are important.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you have to have them because those are goals. Those are goals that you give managers. But they can't be so written in stone that you're inflexible with them.
Yeah. And even with something like that, and again, this is an honest question because I've been thinking more about this, about the unit that I oversee, and typically going into our slower time right now. Although this new promotion that we have going on right now, sales have just been bananas. So I'm not sure if we're going to have a labor problem right now. But anyways, in the event that we do, one thing that I've been trying to think about more, David, and I want your thoughts on this when it comes to, yeah, okay, it's profit first, that's all good and dandy, but is there a way that we can dovetail that with the people first and really instill a sense of pride and ownership with them when it comes to something like menu optimization or I would just say menu optimization. Jim Taylor talks about this in his book, Bold Operations, where if you look at a menu and you can determine the food cost of each of the items, and you can separate them into 4 different categories: the stars, the puzzles, the plow horses, and the dogs. And then you can start to, again, sort of engineer it there in order to sort of combat the labor issue there, so you can put your people first but also are still hitting profit. So what are those 4 different categories? Well, a star is the items that are high profit and high popularity. The plow horses are the ones that are low profit but high popularity. The puzzles are the ones that have high profit but low volume. Yeah, and then the dogs are low profit popularity. So is there a way, I haven't even delved into this with the concept that I'm in right now, but is there a way that you can determine that in a concept that's in a quick service concept, and then you can begin to reorganize? I know a lot of menus are digital now. Can you reorganize it in such a way where the customer's eyes are more drawn to the stars and the puzzles? So then you can run with a people first mentality with labor, but also be more profitable as a result. Is that possible in quick service, or is that more towards the full service side of the spectrum?
I mean, there are people a lot smarter than I am that design menus and design menu placement. And the smart franchisors have those people on staff that design menu placement. So as a franchisee, I trust that the franchisor wants me to be profitable.
Mm-hmm.
And they have on staff people a lot smarter than I am that know about menu placement, that know about the psychology of menus,
Mm-hmm.
that know about, you know, if I put this unit here on the left, halfway down the middle, whatever, you know, I'm just making these up now, that's going to grab an eye.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be one of the stars in that particular spot.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a little bit of, you know, I'm paying royalties to the franchisor. And what I expect from that, one of the things I expect from those royalties is that they are hiring those people that are smarter than I am about menu psychology and menu placement. So then my job as a franchisee is to say, if the franchisor says this is how my menu should look, then I got to make sure my menu looks that way.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Answer the question.
It does. It does, and it doesn't, because when I was working for you, yes, absolutely, that was just this menu layout is gospel. That's how it's getting rolled out with this POP right now for this particular experience. But with the concept that I'm with now, actually, one of my shift leads, she showed me that you can actually, she's like, no, you can actually go on here in the back end. And if we want to push more of the orange cream vanilla freeze rather than the Baja one, you can just switch it. I'm like, what? So it's like, wait a minute. So then that's where you can see I got the wheels turning with the whole stars and dogs thing. It's like, okay, wait a minute.
So do you know? You need to know, and I mean, we knew this. You know, my partner and I knew this, that we knew what items were low cost, high value. You know, we could run reports on every single SKU we had, and I knew the food cost, the make cost on every single item I had in the store. You know, so if you as the manager knows that, and you know what your stars, dogs, you know, plow horses are, and you have the ability to maybe shift that in your digital platform for online orders or whatever, and what will come up first, and you know that, then
Yeah.
do it.
Because I think that's the way that you can sort of combat the. It's like, okay, yes. So if you don't have full autonomy, you have a micromanaging direct report and things like that. Okay, and they're pushing all these things on you, and it's kind of putting you in a crux a little bit with trying to maintain a people first culture inside of your store, but having to bend the knee to the powers that be. Like, okay, well, how do we? There's got to be a way that we can fight fire with fire, and that's why I thought about, okay, with the menu optimization. That's why
So
I asked the question.
if you have the ability as a store leader to optimize your digital platforms, to put the stars front and center first, and you have that capability in the store, do it.
But also knowing the food cost of what it takes to make some of the puzzles, which are high profit but low volume, then you can equip and empower your people to start pushing those.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I've been.
So then you need to go to your leaders that you have
Mm-hmm.
and say, you can do it one of two ways. I mean, you can go into the long explanation, or you can say, hey guys, this week, next 2 weeks, let's push A, B, and C.
Mm-hmm.
And well, and they're either going to say, okay, or you can say, we're pushing A, B, and C because these are high profit, low food cost items,
Mm-hmm.
and they will help us as a unit become more profitable.
And as we're entering a slow time, it will help us keep more of our core team members' hours.
Exactly.
And then, which will increase morale, and morale is profit. Right?
Yeah.
So. Huh. Yeah.
I love the math and the puzzle behind it a little bit. We had a sandwich one time that was a very low food cost sandwich. So we had a formula on how we would price our sandwiches, 2.5 times food cost or whatever the formula was. And so if we applied that formula to that sandwich, the price was X. Okay, here's the formula, apply it to the sandwich, put it up at the X price. No one bought that sandwich. That sandwich did not sell, and I could not understand why it wasn't selling. So we raised the price of the sandwich. I said, well, it's not selling at all. Let's try something. We raised the price of the sandwich like almost $2. I mean, an astronomical. The sandwich sold like hotcakes. I'm like, whoa, I'm making tons of profit on this. But what ended up happening and what I learned is that at the price that we had it at, following our formula, which we were getting profit on, it was a very profitable formula. We would make profit on this. People saw that price and thought it was low quality.
Yeah.
The minute I raised it $2, that was a high quality sandwich and a great sandwich, and we were selling it open.
Yeah. Why do people go to Starbucks over Tim Hortons?
Yeah.
Right. There's that value perception there. I was gonna say, as I was listening to you, I thought you were going to change the copy on the sandwich rather than being fresh ham. Could you say something like it's smoked Brisbane ham or anything like that?
All I
Yeah.
did was raise the price, didn't change anything else, just didn't change ingredients, didn't change description, nothing. It was actually a seafood and crab sandwich.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Especially with something like seafood. Yeah. You get what you pay for.
It was a seafood,
Yeah.
It was a seafood and crab sandwich. Applied my formula to that sandwich. Formula said price it at this. I priced it at that. No one bought it. Raised it $2, and everybody bought it. I mean, we were running out of it.
Mm-hmm. So that's something that you could do for your plow horses.
Yep.
The high volume or the high popularity, low profit ones. Just raise the price a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, there's,
Well, so then that begets another question there. So if for all the plow horses, and now we're kind of going off on a huge tangent here, but whatever. With the plow horses, those items on the menus that are high profit, low profit, high popularity, how much do you raise the price to keep its popularity?
So you can do, there's two different ways to do it. Gradual, it's 5 cents, 10 cents. Still, it hasn't affected sales. So if I'm selling, let's just say 10 of these items, I'm selling 10 of these items at X price.
Mm-hmm.
I raise that X price 10 cents. I'm still selling 10 of these items. I didn't lose sales, but I gained profit.
Mm-hmm.
Because now the cost to make those sandwiches went down.
Mm-hmm.
So I gained profit.
Right.
If I raise them 25 cents, and instead of selling 10, I sell 9, I still gain profit. I'd rather sell 9 of them at X than 10 of them at Y,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm actually making more over here.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do the gradual until you reach that
threshold. Yeah.
that threshold, or you can go way up and then come down to reach the threshold.
Mm-hmm.
We always follow the step up instead of the down.
Did you ever try the up and then the down?
What ended up happening when we did that, and I, only did it a couple times, and I'm like, I like this other method better. This is easier. This month it's 5 cents up. Next month it's 10 cents up. Third month it's 15 cents up. And we just run the numbers. Is that it's easier for people psychologically to go up than it is for them to go down. So it was like we would go, okay, we're gonna, instead of doing 5 cents, I'm gonna raise the sandwich on this price of this sandwich 50 cents.
Mm-hmm.
And it was way over the threshold. No one bought it, and the sales on it tanked.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's lower it right away to 25, lower it down to 25 cents and see what happens. And people just had in their head,
Yeah.
not to buy it.
Yeah.
It was too expensive. Even though the price had gone down, just people had this thing in their head that I'm not going to buy this sandwich, it's just too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we lowered the price, it's still in their head it was too expensive.
Yeah.
So it was easier to do that than it was to come back. Make sense?
Yeah. And I think what we're doing now, without explicitly stating it, is we're equipping the listeners, managers, in-store leaders who are stuck under a profit-first leadership, ways to combat that. And I think we just talked about one strategy to combat that. Well, it is through menu engineering and optimization. What other things can we equip listeners with, David? Who, yes, of course, if we had a magic wand and we could just boom, then all of a sudden all franchisees in this industry are now people first. That's not going to work that way. But so there was one way that we can the people listening to this can combat that. One, we just talked about it, is menu optimization. What are some other ways that we can equip the listeners who are under a profit first leadership to make it feel,
Right. So I think that one of the things that I've found under the profit first versus people first, profit first people are very secretive, in that where people first leaders are very open. So and this is something I had to learn from my franchise partner, that he was a very open person, and I came from a very corporate kind of world, and he came from a very blue collar type of world when we started. And he was like, I don't care who they are, I don't care if they're a 10-hour a week 16-year-old employee. If they want to see my P&L statements and they want to see, the profit, sales, I'll show them. I'll bring in all my spreadsheets, sit down with them and show them. And I was like, no, you don't do that with us people. No, no, that's confidential information, and, but he was he had, and I found that the people first leaders have nothing to hide.
Mm-hmm.
And the more that they share the financials with their employees, the more the employees buy into making a profit.
Because they see their role in it.
They see their role. But those that are less likely to share or to hide it or to just say, yeah, we're not making any money. You gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do this, you gotta hit this, you gotta hit that. They're not getting their people first to buy into the vision of making a profit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying.
And I think, would you agree that the more open and transparent the franchisee is with their P&Ls and financials, that the employees will begin to do away with this axiom that is, well, I can't wait to get a real job.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
It's like this is an actual business.
I mean, my saying, my response to I want to get a real job is good. Then I don't have to pay you real dollars.
Yeah.
If you don't think this is a real job, I don't have to pay you real dollars.
Yeah.
How many times have I said that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So menu optimization, transparency. Anything else?
People first versus profit first.
Or I was just saying that, like, for the listeners that are stuck under profit first leadership, things that they can do.
So,
or somebody who is now coming to the epiphany that, holy shit, I am a profit first. Here's something I can do to get to get out of it.
If you're a leader under, your superiors, the people you report directly to, you don't have to model that behavior to the people that report to you. You can model a people first. So like sharing, like all of that stuff. What can someone in a leadership role that works for an organization that is very profit first, not people first, do?
Yeah, because it's ultimately affecting that person more than anybody else.
Right.
Right. I mean, geez Louise, the today's restaurant manager, man, if they're under a profit first franchisee, they've got their work cut out for them.
I always say that, one of the hardest positions in QSR industry is that the restaurant manager, the district manager, and I mean, even to an extent, the senior district manager, because you're getting pressure from both ends. Like this. And
you're getting downward and upward delegation. Yeah.
Exactly. And it is easier to share your vision and to change the perception of the people that report to you than it is to change the perception of that you report to. So if you can get all of the people that report to you, share them your vision. This is the vision of the company. We're in it to win it. We're in it to make money. That's the vision of the company. And there is nothing wrong with that vision. This is a vision of the company. But this is my vision for our store. This is my vision for our location. I want to be the best store in our region. I want, and this is how we go about it. This is how I see us going about it.
Mm-hmm.
Do any of you have any ideas on how we can go about it?
Mm-hmm.
No. Value the suggestions from the people that report to you. Implement them if you can. Don't immediately, well, I'm the boss, so it's my way or the highway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've learned a lot from people that reported to me. More than I learned from people I reported to.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you model that, if you're in a leadership position, you're in charge of a unit or you're in charge of 5 units, actively solicit advice from those that report to you.
Mm-hmm.
Actively solicit. What do you think we can do better here? What do you think we can do better in the store? Where do you think we're failing in the store and why?
Mm-hmm.
If you were in my position, what would you do? And don't let your ego get in the way of that.
Right. I am 100% okay not knowing how to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. But I have the people that do know how to do it.
Right.
And they love knowing that they know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, I've said that before. You should be far better at doing this than I should. You should be far better at making this product than I am. You do it more than I do. You should be better at it than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And that you're better at it than I am doesn't affect my ego at all.
No. And that's the thing that really holds managers back from becoming leaders.
Right.
Is they want to be able to do and know every single thing. There are still, David, I have never start to finish made cinnamon twists, and I've been with the Consum since May. But I have people who make the shit out of them, and
But I can tell you how to do it.
say it again.
I can tell you how to do it.
My people can tell me how to do it.
Right.
Yes, they can. There's a lot of things that my people can tell me how to do. Like, okay, great. Then you know what that presents then? An opportunity. You just want there was perfect example with the chicken strips coming back and the fries coming back. Well, we're going through oil like it's going out of style, and that's a big hit to food costs if we're not managing that properly. And so, young kid had a suggestion about how we can monitor and preserve oil longer. I just asked him. I said, "Okay, well, for this experience, did you just want to own that? Did you want to own oil for the next month? Like rather than like say, well, no, we're not going to do it that way."
Yeah.
Like, well, why do I care?
I know better.
Why do I care? Why do I care?
So your job as the leader is to vision, be able to identify the people's strength. You see the vision in that person. This guy knows it.
Are we black sheep?
Yeah.
In this industry?
We are.
Because I think that's such, it's almost like taboo. Because when some people still look at me cockeyed when I'm like, no, I don't know how to do that. Like peers of mine, like, no, I don't. No.
I think that you and I have talked about this before, off camera, on camera, that we're not the norm.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have enough humility. I also have enough humility to realize that I'm not all that in a bag of chips. But my philosophy worked well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it worked well for the people that worked for me, made a profit. We were sustainable. We were in business for 3 decades. And we all know that, you know, the food industry fails constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So these things worked for me. And I think they'll work for other people.
Mm-hmm.
This people first philosophy worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think it can work for other people too. And it was a people first philosophy instead of a profit first philosophy, but I didn't sacrifice profit.
Mm-hmm.
So is that abnormal or black sheep in the QS? Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good philosophy.
Well, we talked about this last time. The best concept in QSR right now is Chick-fil-A, and they're only open 6 days a week. That's black sheep.
Yeah. They're only open 6 days. I mean, they leave I can't remember the exact number, but I know it started with a B, billion, but I can't remember, you know, if it's 1 billion, 2 billion. They leave that on the table, not being open on Sundays. But they are one of the most profitable QSR
Concepts. Yeah.
concepts
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
today.
Yeah. Yep.
They have a very, very loyal employees,
Mm-hmm.
extremely loyal employees.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so let's just look at it pure profit, and then we'll expand on it. Pure profit versus a people first.
Mm-hmm.
If I was a profit first company, we'd be open on Sundays because I'm not losing $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
People first. But how much more am I making by not being open on Sundays?
It's Parkinson's law.
Right.
If you got 6 days to do a thing, you're gonna get it done in 6 days. If you got 7 days to do a thing, it's engineered scarcity and urgency for the customer. Well, I know that they're going to be closed tomorrow, so it's Saturday at 9 p.m. They close at 10. I better get my ass there.
Right. Well, that, but I'm also putting a dollar amount I'm trying to put a dollar amount on how much am I gaining? What's the dollar amount of the loyalty of my staff?
Yeah.
It's more than, let's say it's $1 billion I'm leaving on the table by not being open on Sunday. But the loyalty, the customer service, the hospitality that my customers receive from employees that feel valued in a people first organization, that dollar amount
Mm-hmm.
is far more than the $1 billion I'm leaving on the table.
Right. And I think the other concept that's a boon in the industry right now, they're open 7 days a week, but I think there's a different factor playing into their profitability, and I'd be really interested to see what their retention rates are, is Raising Cane's. They're open 7 days a week, but I'd be very interested, David, to figure out what their retention rates are, and if they are low, I would hypothesize that it's because of the menu simplicity.
If their retention rates are low or their turnover rates are low.
Yeah.
Okay.
I keep getting those two mixed
Yeah.
up. Yeah, if their turnover rates are lower, because I mean, there's an inherent amount of stress. I can speak firsthand to this with the menu always changing with the concept that I'm in right now, and it being a full service size menu.
Right.
Whereas Raising Cane's, you got 5 items. That's it.
I think that's one of the problems in the QSR industry is we have way too many SKUs. Let's simplify the SKUs. Let's bring down the number of SKUs we have.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at your 4, things, and let's eliminate the dogs. Just eliminate them completely.
Yeah.
Let's have a simplified SKU, and then let's do some LTOs. You know, so we're going to have a really simplified SKU menu. Our core menu has very low SKUs,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll do some LTUs or LTOs, limited time offerings, that maybe we don't necessarily have to bring a new product, or we just have to bring in one new thing. And LTO, we have this sandwich, but limited time only, we're going to have this sandwich, and we're going to add one piece of meat from this sandwich to that sandwich, and we're going to call it this.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't bring in new product. We added another SKU for limited time only to keep the menu fresh. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm opposed to that, but I also see the value in it. I see the value. Like, listen, if a customer comes through and, hey, I want a chicken finger sandwich, okay, great. Then you slap a chicken finger in between two pieces of Texas toast at Raising Cane's, and now you got a chicken sandwich. Okay, great, right? Or maybe we want a party pack of chicken fingers, so it's not just 3, now it's 12. Okay, great, you got it. Right? Things like that.
But yeah, I mean, I like low. I think in the QSR industry, I like low number of SKUs.
And I would also eliminate modifications. I would eliminate modifications, especially during this time of year. Again, speaking from firsthand experience and seeing how stressed out my people get during dinner, where the item sizes, where the number of items skyrockets. At lunch, you might be between 3 and 5 items. Dinner, 17, 23 items, and all these modifications. I would get rid of that. I'd get rid of that if we're people first. I'd get rid of modifications, and I would simplify the menu. And I think that would not only increase profitability, but yeah, I know it would increase profitability, because if you're limiting menu size and also eliminating modifications, well, that's going to increase speed of service. And the more transactions you have, that's going to help your labor.
Yeah, no, I agree. But one of the things I think QSR industry do face is that there is a certain amount of, from the customer standpoint, especially in social media driven demographic, that there is a certain amount of ennui or boredom with a menu. So that's why I suggest LTOs.
Do people get bored with Orville Redenbacher?
No.
Do one thing and do it better than anybody else.
No, right. But with the QSR industry, so if you are a sandwich shop, be the best sandwich shop you can be. That's the Orville Redenbacher thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you do need, in the social media driven world that we're in, and that's the demographic that most QSR restaurants, that's the biggest demographic for most QSR restaurants, is that social media thing. So you do have to have a certain clickbait item, and that's your LTO item.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Because I would argue the opposite.
Okay.
I would think that's a red ocean. There's a lot of blood in there right now. Everybody's doing that. The blue ocean is to, in my opinion, is to just do what everybody else isn't doing. Who said it? Who said it? Was it Mark Twain? Whenever I find myself on the side of the majority, I find it a time to pause and reflect.
Oh.
Right? But again, that kind of goes back to what you. I think it goes back to what you and I were saying about is being black sheep. Like, we're just different.
Yeah. But it also depends on the concept too. Raising Cane's is the best chicken finger fries, Texas toast
sauce, slaw,
cane sauce, slaw, around. I don't think Raising Cane's necessarily is a concept that needs an LTO. But there are some concepts that they could reduce their SKUs a little bit and then just have an LTL every so often.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's the hot one right now? Is it adding the cream to the soft drinks?
Oh, dirty drinks.
Dirty drinks.
Yeah.
You know, so let's try dirty drinks for a limited time only.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the dirty. I mean, we still have customers that ask for dirty Baja Blasts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so and then, you know, we'll do some social media post about it. Maybe some people pick it up, you know, hey, I went in and had a dirty whatever. I mean, isn't that how
That's how it started.
because of social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think there are some concepts that can do LTOs.
But I think that what you're implicitly stating, David, is I think that's also a way that you could inject a people first mentality under profit first leadership.
Yeah.
Is giving your people that freedom and ability to share their ideas on social media. And all of a sudden, whoa, now we got a dirty Baja Blast in the menu, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anything else that you want to impart upon the audience as far as profit first, people first, ways to get out of it, what to do, besides hang in there?
Even if you work for a profit first organization, you can still model people first. And no matter what position you're in, even if you have no one that reports to you, you model people first, then with your fellow crew members.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a assistant general manager, you're modeling people first to your people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're a general manager, you model people first to the people that report to you. Even if you're not getting it modeled to you, you model it to them.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a district manager of 5 stores or 5 units, you model that to your stores.
Right.
And I can tell you from experience that if you're a district manager with 5 stores and you're modeling people first to your stores, you'll be the best district manager in your region.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a manager of a unit and you're modeling people first to your people, you're taking the blows for them from the profit first. Your store will be the best store in your area. And if you're a crew member and you're modeling people first, but you have no one that reports to you, but you're modeling that to your fellow crew members, your manager will notice.
Oh yeah. It's like getting red pilled. You can't unsee it.
I mean, model people first, even if you work in an organization that is not a people first organization.
Mm-hmm.
You're responsible. You do not have control over the people that you report to. You only have control over your actions.
Mm-hmm. And if you're somebody who's running a profit first organization, you sort of have had this epiphany. Well, I think you have more than enough ammunition to start making the transition. Would you?
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So
hopefully we gave you some ideas.
That's what we're here to talk about. Yeah, this is what we do. Ideas.
You know, Hunter and I like to sit around and shoot the, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but hopefully something that we said you could take action on.
Yeah. So do it, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.